Sometimes you can't explain it, but something feels off. She's still smiling. She still says she loves you. But deep down, you're starting to feel small, uncertain, exhausted. You tell yourself, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe it's just a phase. But deep down, you know the truth. You're not growing. You're fading. And that's not what love is supposed to do. Love should elevate you, not confuse you. It should bring you peace, not paranoia. But here's the truth most men don't want to face. If she's doing these 5 things, it's not going to get better. It's going to break you. And like Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. If your relationship is costing your freedom, it's time to walk. 1. She gaslights you into doubting yourself. At first, it's subtle. You notice something she said doesn't match what you remember. You bring it up gently. She smiles like you're cute for even caring and replies, "That never happened. You're misremembering." You brush it off. Maybe you are wrong, but then it happens again and again. And each time you try to stand up for your truth, she flips it back on you. You're too sensitive. You always twist things. You're imagining drama that isn't there. That's gaslighting, and it's psychological warfare dressed in emotional intimacy. It doesn't yell or scream. It whispers you out of your sanity. It chips away at your certainty like slow, invisible erosion. You start questioning your memories, your emotions, your instincts. You begin to apologize for things you didn't do, and before long, you're second-guessing everything you feel. That's not just manipulation. That's identity theft. Because when a woman controls your perception of reality, she's not loving you. She's reprogramming you to obey her version of the truth. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are constantly filtered through her gaslighting, your soul becomes stained with doubt, guilt, and confusion. And the more you internalize that, the further you drift from your masculine frame, the part of you that stands tall in the face of contradiction. You weren't made to walk on eggshells. You were made to stand in truth. A woman who loves you won't make you feel like you're insane for feeling hurt. She won't rewrite your memories to win an argument. She'll seek clarity, not control. So if she makes you feel like you can't trust your own mind, it's not your mind that's broken. It's the dynamic. Don't rationalize it. Don't try to fix her. Untangle yourself. Reclaim your reality and walk away. 2. She has no respect for your boundaries. Boundaries are how men build freedom inside love. They're not walls to keep people out. They're lines drawn to protect your peace, time, values, and energy. But to the wrong woman, your boundaries will look like challenges. You say, "I need space today." She blows up your phone, gets angry that you're distant, and implies you're punishing her. You say, "I'm not comfortable with that guy messaging you at 11 p.m. She rolls her eyes and calls you insecure. You say, "I want Saturday mornings to focus on my goals." She sabotages your schedule and calls it us time. Every time you try to honor yourself, she tries to override it. Not because she doesn't understand, but because she doesn't care. She sees your standards not as non-negotiables, but as obstacles to her control. And a woman who constantly steps over your boundaries isn't stubborn. She's telling you clearly, "Your comfort doesn't matter to me." Seneca once said, "No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have, and to cheerfully put to good use what they do have." A healthy woman cherishes what you offer freely. A toxic woman tries to take what she was never entitled to: your time, your attention, your autonomy. Let's be clear. Love doesn't ask you to erase yourself. Respect doesn't require you to prove anything. When you give someone repeated access to your time, your energy, your body, and they consistently disregard your boundaries, what you're really doing is training them to disrespect you. And every time you let it slide, your self-respect shrinks just a little more. You weren't born to bend for approval. You were born to lead with clarity. And no relationship is worth abandoning yourself for. So if she keeps crossing the line after you've made it clear, then the next line to draw is your exit. If you've found value in what you've heard so far, take a second to hit that subscribe button. It helps us grow this movement and allows us to bring you more Stoic wisdom to protect your power and peace. Thank you for being here. 3. She always plays the victim. This one is subtle, but lethal. It doesn't scream like violence. It whispers like guilt. She breaks your trust, but somehow you end up apologizing. She loses her temper, throws a tantrum, curses, cries, but when the dust settles, she tells you, "You made me do that. You triggered me." It doesn't matter how calm, kind, or accountable you are. The narrative is always the same. She's the poor, wounded soul. You're the insensitive monster. At first, you fight it. You explain, you rationalize, you walk on eggshells to not set her off. But over time, you start believing it. You start thinking maybe you are the problem. This isn't love. It's a psychological prison. She's not looking for a partner. She's looking for a shield to hide her flaws behind. She avoids responsibility by casting herself as the eternal victim and you, the permanent villain. No matter what happens, your role is already written. And here's what's worse. When you absorb that blame, you stop trusting yourself. You forget what real accountability looks like. Epictetus said it best. He who blames others has a long way to go. He who blames himself is halfway there. He who blames no one has arrived. A mature person owns their role in conflict. But she doesn't want resolution. She wants power without accountability, and she'll weaponize sympathy to keep it. So ask yourself, are you having real conversations, or are you constantly defending your character? Are you fixing problems, or just being the emotional punching bag? You're not her savior. You're not her scapegoat. And you're not crazy. If she can't take responsibility, then take yours and walk away. 4. She disrespects your time. Time is the most valuable currency you'll ever own. And unlike money, you don't get to earn more of it. Yet she wastes it like it's endless. She makes plans, then cancels last minute. She scrolls through her phone while you speak. She keeps you waiting while she decides if you're worth showing up for. She flakes. She ghosts. She disappears when it's inconvenient, then returns when she's bored, lonely, or wants something from you. And the moment you call it out, you're too needy. You're being dramatic. You're overreacting. But let's be real. This isn't about being needy. It's about being disrespected. When someone truly values you, they honor your time because they know it's an extension of your life. Disrespecting your time is just a polite way of saying, you're not important. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." So ask yourself, if this was your last week on Earth, would you spend it waiting by the phone for someone who treats you like an option? Would you waste it rearranging your schedule for someone who treats you like a backup plan? Because here's the brutal truth. If she can casually waste your minutes now, she will waste your years later. Time disrespect is a gateway drug to life regret. You are not her convenience. You are not a placeholder. You are not some pit stop between her indecision and her next distraction. Respect your time enough to walk away from anyone who doesn't. Because once you give your time to the wrong person, you can't ask the universe to give it back. 5. She stops trying. In the beginning, everything felt alive. She cared. She listened. She showed up. She dressed to impress, asked how your day went, left you little notes, and looked at you like you were the man she'd waited her whole life to find. You felt chosen. And maybe for a time, you were. But something shifted. Slowly, almost invisibly, the warmth cooled. She stopped doing the small things. Stopped texting first. Stopped dressing up for your dates. Stopped showing curiosity in your goals, your struggles, your spirit. The energy she once brought into the relationship faded into indifference, and worse, entitlement. She still expects your commitment, your consistency, your best. But she stopped giving hers. She assumes your loyalty is permanent, like you're a tree planted in her yard that doesn't need watering anymore. And that assumption is a red flag that most men miss, because we confuse comfort with care. But comfort without effort is not love. It's complacency. And complacency is the slowest form of abandonment. Here's the deeper truth. Relationships are like fires. You can't light them once and expect them to burn forever. They require tending. Effort is the oxygen. And when she stops putting in effort, she's not just tired, she's telling you something, whether she says it out loud or not. I already have you. I don't need to earn you anymore. Now here's the Stoic angle. Epictetus taught, don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. That means if she no longer embodies love, respect, attention, no amount of talking will bring it back. If she's checked out emotionally, spiritually, physically, then explaining your needs is just broadcasting your desperation. And understand this, when you stay with someone who has stopped trying, you're teaching them that your standards are negotiable. You're telling them, you don't have to show up. I'll love you anyway. That's not noble. That's self-erasure. A Stoic man leads by presence, not pressure. He doesn't beg for effort, he inspires it. And if it no longer exists, he quietly withdraws his energy and moves on with honor intact. So ask yourself, is this a relationship that's alive? Or are you just keeping a dead thing breathing out of habit? If her effort has died, don't light the match alone. If she's stopped showing love, don't teach her that love is optional. Step away, not as punishment, but as a demonstration of what self-respect looks like. Because real men don't demand effort. They reflect it, and they walk when it's gone. Rebuilding after you walk away. Walking away isn't just about leaving her, it's about returning to yourself. Because the real damage of toxic love isn't what it takes from you, it's what it makes you forget. Your strength, your clarity, your worth. This is where the work begins. Not in anger, not in bitterness, but in silence, in the sacred rebuilding of your masculine core. Start by getting still. Journal what you ignored. Recall the moments you felt yourself shrinking. Reconnect to the voice inside you that said, this isn't right. That voice was never wrong, you just stopped listening. Then, rebuild discipline. Get back to your gym, to your books, to your mission. Not to distract yourself, but to remember who you were before you settled. Like Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. That's how Stoic men recover. They don't numb the pain, they channel it into power. They don't rebound, they rise. You don't need revenge, you don't need closure, you need direction. You need to sharpen your sword emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So next time you don't beg for respect. You command it silently, by how you walk, how you live, and who you allow into your world. This pain, it was the tuition you paid for clarity. Don't waste it. Let's be clear. If she gaslights you into questioning your mind, if she tramples your boundaries, plays the victim when she's in the wrong, wastes your time like it's nothing, and puts in zero effort while expecting your best, then this isn't love. This is a slow erosion of your masculine power. And it's not your duty to fix a woman who refuses to grow. You're not her therapist. You're not her life coach. And you're not her emotional punching bag. Your only job is to protect your peace, to preserve your purpose, to stand tall in a world that keeps asking you to shrink. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." You don't need to explain your worth to anyone who treats you like you're disposable. You don't need to justify walking away from what poisons your spirit. Because a man who walks early, not out of hate, but out of clarity, walks with his head held high. He doesn't wait for the final betrayal. He doesn't beg for breadcrumbs. He doesn't stay to prove a point. He leaves to protect his soul. So say it to yourself, loud and clear, and believe it this time. I choose peace over pain, self-worth over confusion, freedom over fear. If a woman can't match the energy you bring, if she diminishes your value, disrupts your clarity, or disrespects your time, the most stoic, the most masculine, the most powerful thing you can do is leave quietly, fully, and finally. Because when you walk with self-respect, the world walks differently around you. If this spoke truth into your life, drop a comment below. My silence is my power. And hit subscribe, because here at Stoic Spirit, we don't just react, we rise.